What's going on, everyone? It's friendly neighborhood dungeon master Lucas here, coming at you with another episode of what we love, chilling with some lo-fi and doing some D&D stuff. I don't have the lo-fi started. There it is. But today's stream, you know what? I gotta say, something about this stream setup is starting to get to me. I mean, look at this. You know, this is a familiar scene. I don't even have my info's not even up for some reason. You know, look, it's like all my stuff over there in the corner. It's not even there. You know, I don't know where that stuff is right now. But like, I don't know, things look weird on here to me, you know, if we just get rid of these two for the moment. I mean, look, this is a familiar scene. If you're used to my stream, this is familiar to you because this is the background to every single one of my streams. That's my background. I use that on my phone. I use that on my tablets. I use that on my computer. You know, that red stripe with the dice in it. I'm familiar to that, and that's what I have. But I think we need a change of scenery because it's awkward. You know, look, I got the stuff behind me. You know, it's over there. I'm never looking at it. I'm always guessing of what I'm doing because I can't see what's behind me, and I think I gotta get stuff in front of me. So what I have done is I have cozied up the place a bit. I have gathered some friends, and why don't we take a quick walk over to there and get ourselves situated. So, one moment. Ah, that's better. All right, so as you can see, things are a little different over here. This is going to be the new setup for chilling with lo-fi and doing D&D things. As you can see, I got the boys up there. Got the dungeon master preaching his stories at the top of the banister. Just to his side is our old friend Azazel. Maybe one day I might grace you folks with the 30-page backstory of him, but don't hold your breath. Over there towards the end, we got our boy Kelf, the half-orc barbarian, my very first D&D character, and at the very end, strumming his strings and providing us with this wonderful music is Cooper, the Warforged bard character that I took from level 1 to 20, and one of the dearest characters to my life. Welcome to the new lounge. This is where we're going to be doing our lo-fi and D&D streams from here on out. Should I get the opportunity to do what I want, one day, those seats might be filled with faces of people that I am, doing some shows with. I have some things in the works, some talks, so hey, we'll see what time holds for us. But at least for right now, we are going to get a jump on a few things that I've been wanting to talk about, some things that I've been wanting to add to Beyond ever since I saw them last night. And what I am referring to is what I had up on the screen a minute ago. Those 10 new previous page of Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, the new Madness table, subclasses, and more. So if you are unfamiliar, which honestly I don't know how you could be unfamiliar with this particular work, it is one of the most successful D&D Kickstarters that has been around. There is amazing content with it, and it is just Monkey DM, the grandmaster behind that, is just constantly funneling out more and more content for it. And in this most recent update, he actually put out a big chunk of information and kind of the things that we're going to be focusing on: a new monk subclass, new weapons, but something he doesn't even list on here is a new cleric subclass, a cleric subclass that I really like and have actually talked to. There hasn't been no back and forth, but I really consider it an amazing subclass for one of my players. In my Phandalin 5 group, the cleric in there, Albina, because of how it's designed. And so what I want to do today is have a seat, dig into it, and take a look at everything. Also, you might notice that my voice sounds a little bit different. I messed with a few settings the other day. I don't know if my voice... why is the bartender talking about some game? Yeah. The bartender is talking about some game because that's what he do. Oh, wait, that's right. I could also do this. Bam! Lo-Fi Lounge. That's right. That's where we're at. Gotta turn on the lights, gotta represent. So, by the way, what's up? What's up, Kevin? Appreciate you being here. But what we're going to be doing, like I said, we're going to be adding these two subclasses. We're going to be adding these weapons because I really like them. I like how they're designed, too anachronistic. Yeah. We're going to be, we're going to be looking into them. Now, something I do want to say, I thought about Kelf's Lounge. Believe me, I had Kelf's Corner. I had a lot of stuff. It's honestly why at least for the yeah, Kelf is not smart enough to run a business. No, it's honestly why it's probably gonna stay like this. Just blank down there for the time being. I like I said, I do have thoughts. I have plans. Talks are going to be had, but, might be something down there. He'd get one. Yeah. You know what? He'd have Kelf would have a kobold come into his lounge, and it would just be a massacre, and they'd have to shut him down. So, like I said, I'm going to be working on this tonight. I want to get this stuff in, kind of want to give my opinions about these things. And then... I am actually going to do another stream tomorrow night. I actually have some other things that I want to do tomorrow. So if you're around, you want to come hang out, probably going to be a little bit later than it is today, tomorrow. But I got a character that I want to build. I have a dungeon that I want to put together as kind of like a side adventure for one of my games. Also, I have a homebrew piece of... or homebrew item that I want to make sure I get down and get established. Also, just a couple other things. But yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. But for tonight, this is what we're going to be working on, adding this new Steinhardt's information. So go ahead and pull that up for the time being and get started on that. So the main pieces that are on here is the Fire Dancer Monk, the monk way of the Fire Dancer. I'm probably not going to add the Accursed Tiefling. It's not really my style. So it's very specific. It's very like story specific to what is in the game. The Serpent Blade Whip I'm going to be adding. I really like this, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Here is the Cleric Guardian Domain subclass that I was mentioning would be a really good fit for Albina in the Phandalin 5, and then finally the Galvanized Claw. So we'll tackle each one of these as we go. I'm actually going to start on the weapons, just because the subclasses take a little bit more effort. So go in here and we'll create a magic item. And we're going to create this from scratch. Now, this is going to be The it's a little bigger. There we go. So this is the Serpent Blade Whip. Now, the idea behind this weapon, if you have not been following, the Eldritch Hunt stuff and the stuff from Monkey DM's Kickstarter, Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, trick weapons come from this, or trick weapons are designed to be used in two different styles. There was another one that he put out, which was a gun that could be a long-range rifle as well as a pistol. So this one is in a very similar vein. This is going to be a whip and a rapier, and what that means is we're actually going to have to create it twice. There's no way to actually have it represented as the same item, but in two different damage classes, just because whip and rapier are two different things. So we'll have to make sure that we get two of these, but this is going to be we'll start with the whip version, and we'll switch this over, get this down here, and it does require attunement, but it doesn't have any specifics to it, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, how this weapon works, it's a +1 weapon. When you attune to it, basically this wrap goes around your skin or goes around your arm and actually latches into you. You do take some damage, and you cannot be disarmed from this because it is just a part of you. As a bonus action, you can switch it between its standard and transformed, or untransformed and transformed states. The untransformed is a whip, and the transformed is the rapier. So with the whip, it acts as a normal whip. So you get that reach, you get that extra 5 feet. But as it says here, if you damage a creature 2 times, there we go, 2 times in a turn with this weapon, the devouring hunger awakens and tears out more of their flesh, dealing an additional 2d4 damage. So one of the downsides to whips is that whips are actually fairly weak in the overall category of damage. They're down there basically with with clubs and with I think daggers are even daggers are, but yeah, so they're down there with clubs and daggers. The one thing they have going for them is the distance, but one of the big problems, whips are actually a martial weapon. Now, Bob, I always forget what his like full channel name is, Bob World Builder over on YouTube as well as on Twitch and all other forms of media. He actually talked about upgrading the whip and actually adding different variants to it, and I really liked that concept because I think the whip is a vastly underutilized weapon. Really, the only thing that it does have going for it is reach. It is finesse, so it is good to have, but most people that are playing a character who has martial weapon proficiency and is looking for a finesse weapon is probably not going to go for reach. They are probably going to go more for a rapier or a short sword. Short sword's getting that 1d6 slashing, rapier's getting that 1d8 piercing. It's unfortunately, when it comes to combat, in a lot of cases, it is a numbers game, and I know personally, I love the whip. I actually made a character based around the whip. He is right. We'll pull him up real fast. Monty Sanguine. There he is. So Monty Sanguine actually, but the thing is a very specific whip. This was actually a custom whip that was worked out with the guy who was running that game. If you used 2 hands, it dealt an additional 1d4 damage, but it also was a Slayer weapon, so it dealt extra damage to Fey, Fiend, and Undead because he was a vampire hunter. He's based off of what's the game? I can't think of it. Castlevania. he's based off of the Belmont family lineage. So he's a vampire hunter, a monster hunter. And that was kind of the idea behind it. But one of the things that I did with him was I had green flame blade. So this was not only going to allow him to have his normal whip, but also to imbue it with fire. And I think that's how most people really play with a whip if they do use it. Now, I also had a character who I built specifically so that I could have a whip. It is right here. This is Rango, the Whippin' Bugbear, and he was solely built with the desire of being a very fast, very kind of piece of shit character, where he was just whipping creatures from like 15 feet away. Considering bugbears have a racial trait, which is long-limbed, where their reach is an additional 5, so his area to hit was wasn't a 5-foot, cube of, or a square of influence, not even a 10-foot, but it was a 15-foot cube of influence. So, yeah, he was very much built to just be somebody that was whipping everybody that was within 15 feet of him. But other than that, whips don't really get a lot of love. So when I saw this item, I really liked it. I liked the concept behind it. Being able to turn into a rapier does have its benefit, but being able to use it as a whip that deals that extra amount of damage is just phenomenal. Because again, at least in my opinion, that's one of the major downsides to whips. But as for its transformed state, so when you actually turn it into a rapier, and as you can see here, that is what it looks like in that state. Basically, what this thing does is it pretty much sucks your blood, which is kind of awesome. So it digs into you and it pulls out some of your blood, and whenever you stab into somebody, that blood is kind of pulsed into them, and they must make a Constitution save, otherwise they are poisoned. Now, this fire blood poisoned, as it's called, is actually very potent. So the way that it works is it's a DC 14 con save. If you fail it, your innards start to boil due to the poison, and for the next minute you are poisoned, and at the start of your turn you take 1d6 fire damage, and this ignores fire resistance. So that would mean that if I was using this against somebody in any one of my campaigns, let's say Smith in the Phandalin 5, or possibly Cephas or Albina in the Phandalin 5, who all have fire resistance, they would still take this, this full amount of damage. But, as always, a creature can continue making these saves, so it is possible. Yeah, poison ignores immunity on there, so that is at least a benefit to that. All right, so let's get this created. Let's get some formatting done right here. Yep. All right, and we're going to go into here. It doesn't have a charge. I thought... Yeah, no, it does not. Okay, so we are currently in the whip, which is good. We want a modifier, which is going to be bonus, we want bonus and magic. And we want 1. So that is going to, that bonus magic is going to make it so that it's a +1 on both sides, both damage and to hit. And what we need to do is we need to add a button that is, well, we don't want to add a button in here. Actually, we can't do that. So what it's going to have to be is, I don't know if there's actually a way to do what I'm thinking of. I don't think I can have a way where it stores the damage somewhere else. A lot of times what I've had to do is like make an item and then attribute that item to a feat, which actually probably is not the worst. Now that I think of it, that's actually probably the best way to go about this. So what we'll do is we'll make this an item. It'll be both the Serpent Blade Whip and the Serpent Blade Whip version and the Serpent Blade Whip Rapier. And then we will have a Serpent Blade feat that is going to give us that bonus action to transform it. And it's also going to represent that additional 2d4 slashing damage. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so right then and there, we got our Serpent Blade Whip. We can go up here and Serpent Blade Whip, and we'll just recreate this, and we will change this to Rapier. But how are you guys doing tonight? See, we got Kevin and Stacy in the chat. That's what we needed. Actually, change those up. I think having that, I don't think we're going to use a snippet. Just because we're only using this for like one very specific thing. So we want action general, and this is going to be Serpent Blade Whip transform. And this is going to be a bonus action. Transform your Serpent Blade Whip. Yeah, I think that's actually just fine. Transform your Serpent Blade Whip. Because we really don't need much beyond that. You know what? Transform your Serpent Blade Whip from its whip state to its rapier state, or vice versa. Let's put apostrophes there. All right. So I think if we do this, I might be able to. This is going to be melee weapon attack, slashing, and this is going to be 2d4. And this is for the Serpent Blade Whip. Oh, wait, you know what? Actually, no, we're not going to put that. We are going to put that. If you damage a creature twice, We'll just do it this way. Damage a creature twice in a turn with whip. There we go. Yeah. So like I said, I kind of love this weapon. I love the idea behind it. One thing that I really like is that, as I said, Bob World Builder, he did this whole thing that was on like weapons and giving them additional modifiers and stuff. I'm gonna try and, or not modifiers. That's not the word I want to use. But giving them different traits. So I'm gonna try and see if I can find that real quick. Yes, in fact, I did. Here it is. So this is from Bob's Patreon. So what this one is giving different whips, or giving whips different abilities. You know, Cat o' Nine Tails getting a grappling feature, being able to hit someone with multiple to be able to ensnare them. Getting one that has light so that this way you can actually dual wield, but also so that you can wrap around people's legs. The Sword Whip getting a the light, as well as upping the damage, having like a blade at the end of it, and then yeah, being able to frighten creatures with the sound of the whip crack. But what I'm really focusing on here is this concealable and this stealthy. So I really like this concealable because one of the things that isn't taken into account a lot of times is when heroes and players are walking into a town or a city or somewhere, a lot of times they're walking in with all of their weapons. And I kind of want you to think about it this way. Imagine, if you will, you were just hanging out in your town, you were at the local pub or, you know, down at the arcade, and all of a sudden you see a group of 6 individuals walking down the street, and they have rifles on their back, and they have machine guns, and they have you know, bazookas or grenade bandoliers or anything like that, just weapons galore. And they walk into the pub, and everyone just kind of like looks back at them, and, you know, everyone's kind of confused. You stand out. It's very clear that you are going to stand out. And I don't think that's often played up in D&D, because we kind of have this idea and expectation that there are heroes, adventurers. To be an adventurer is a job. It's a thing that somebody does. You know, so you have this expectation of like, oh, well, he's clearly an adventurer. He's clearly some kind of hero. That's why he's wearing this. But I love this idea because you can walk around with this on your arm. Maybe you're wearing nicer clothing. Maybe you are a rogue. And honestly, kind of what I would love to make for this character would be a rogue. And that's the idea that I like about the concealable trait of a weapon. You know, something where it's not even actually concealable. It just looks like a piece of jewelry. It kind of goes hand in hand with my love of the Warforge, because if you are not aware, the Warforge have an amazing thing called arm blades. I don't know if I can search it up on here. There we go. Yeah. So arm blades, basically, if you are a Warforge, you can have this attach you. Now, technically, as a DM, you could lift the Warforge, you know, attunement. You could have somebody who, you know, maybe has like a robotic arm or some kind of mechanical or arcano-mechanical arm that has something in that. You could also be like what happened to old Kelf over there, hanging up next to Cooper, where at one point in the adventure that he was in, went up, badmouthed the dragon bit his arm off, and the cleric went up to a stone and cast Stone Shape on Kelf's arm and the stone and basically replaced his arm with that of an axe head, a stone axe head. And that's why he became known as Kelf the Axe Hand. So there's like different ways, and that would kind of be the same idea. It would be the same idea of if you had the battle axe, where it is a part of your arm. It's inseparable from it. Cephas doesn't have arm blades. I mean, Cephas, for Cephas, it would be a bit rough. And the reason for that is because unless Cephas wanted to change his entire fighting style, he would not be able to use the swords that he is actually built to use. For those out there unaware, Cephas is the Warforged Barbarian in the P5 group who uses a volcanic greatsword, and one of the things about that is that it is it's a two-handed weapon. So that's kind of one of the extents of this, is that it's any one-handed melee weapon. Now, that does mean that, you know, maybe he could get two long swords. Getting your arm solid. Yeah, it was. It was, Bobicus. It was a harrowing event. But yeah, unfortunately, Cephas would not be able to have his greatsword, but he could, you know, get two long swords and basically, you know, go out arms a chopping. You could use battle axes or anything else. So I know whenever I played Cooper, I had a rapier that was stored up in his arm. So that was those were fun times. But yes, having your arm nibbled on by a dragon, it was a strange scenario. We the group and I, we were heading off to this this town, this city that my character was actually from, and my character's flaw back then, Kelf the axe wielder, his major flaw was that when he saw a kobold, he would instantly rage. No matter what was happening, he would instantly rage, and he would go after that kobold and not stop until it was dead. And it was all tied into his backstory, why he was like this. He was an orphan. He was abandoned at the doorstep of a farming couple, the Hallards, and he was raised by them. Joined the military. He joined the militia because he was a big, strong, half orc. And what happened was his mentor got attacked by a group of kobolds. Was basically kept prisoner. Kelf went out to try and get him back, slaughtered every kobold that was out there, including the women and the children, and he got back his mentor, and then found out shortly sometime later that his family, his mother and father, were attacked at their homestead, at their farm. So he went back and checked on them, and what he found was the symbol of the kobold clan that he had gone and basically attacked to get his mentor back. So this built such a huge rage and fury and anger towards kobolds in general, that he was he left the army to basically go and hunt down the kobolds that did this, to try and find them and hunt them down. But it was always in the back of his head, he wasn't just going to hunt them down. He was going to kill every kobold that he ever came across. He lost all semblance of thought that they were a living, breathing, thinking creature, and they were just animals to him, meant for the slaughter. And so that was his major flaw, was if he saw a kobold, he would instantly rage and attack it. Well, this did not play well when my party was... We were just coming out of forest or something. We were heading down a hill, I believe. And at the bottom of the hill, we saw this baby dragon playing with what to everyone else in the party was very clearly a stuffed toy of a kobold. Kelf thought that it was a real kobold attacking this baby dragon. So he runs down the hill, has his axes held overhead. Everybody else is trying to get him to stop, but he's already raged and he's already in a fury. And so he gets down there and starts chopping at this thing. Luckily, the baby dragon got scared away, but not too long after that, the mother dragon came over and was pretty much like, you know, what the fuck are you doing? Get the hell out of here, kind of a situation. You know, and I was like, you know, your child was playing with something of a monster, and we had words with one another. Well, we were let off the hook. Yeah, exactly. What foul wizard has polymorphed this kobold into stuffing? The treachery. They are appealing to the young ones. So we didn't really think much, like, we let that encounter be, but then a few days later, we were traveling down a road after some other things that we had dealt with, and we came to this shrine. And the shrine was where you could pay a coin to gain the luck from some benevolent being. And we did. We wanted to see who was taking this money that was being left out here. So we put some money and we hung out there. You know, we wanted to have some benefit bestowed upon us. And I would have to talk to my buddy Kevin, who ran that campaign, and see what all the details were of that, because I can't remember every detail. But what we found out was that it was the dragon that Kelf had bad-mouthed and basically swung and attacked a child for, who showed up. And wasn't too happy that we were there. So Kelf started bad-mouthing the dragon, getting up in its face and, like, pointing at it and, like, you know, saying that it was terrible or whatever he was doing. And what happened was the dragon, who was very annoyed at this point, and hey, you deserve it. It's very, very reasonable to be deserved. What had happened was the dragon just chomped his arm off. And like straight at the, you know, straight up halfway up the arm, just right off. And so everybody in the group was like, oh my God, what, you know, what's going on? What are we going to do? And what happened was our quick thinking cleric thought, I'm going to use Stone Shape. So if I use Stone Shape and we press your arm up against a stone, and we use this to form the stone and shape the stone into an axe head that staunches the blood, you'll be set. So our DM had that player, which if you watch any of the two campaigns on here that I run, it is Aaron who did that. He plays Wu and Yu in Rime of the Frostmane and P5 respectively. But he rolled a really high medicine check. I think it might have been a nat 20. It might have been a 19, but whatever it was super high, and our DM was really understanding. And so we got this axe head. And that was it was a beautiful moment. It did become this this thing in the party where we were like, yeah, he was got his arm bit off by a dragon. Now he just has an axe hand. And so it meant that I couldn't manipulate items that required two hands. So I couldn't use a two-handed weapon. Unfortunately, it meant that I would not be able to continue using the weapon that I had custom made in that game, which was a great axe that could be split into two battle axes in order to attack. So I did have a battle axe here. I had a battle axe in the other hand, and I was still, you know, chopping away and stuff. I had, I want to say I had disadvantage on dexterity checks that required, like, manual manipulation because it bit off my right arm, and Kelf was right-handed. So it meant that he was, like, basically useless with his left hand as much I am. But one of the most, like, influential moments that ever happened is what happened with Tyr and Fenrir, only he didn't get an axe in. I'm ignorant. I know Tyr and Fenrir, the wolf. I'm unaware that he bit his arm off. Oh yeah, there it is. Fenrir bit Tyr's arm off, leaving Tyr with only his left hand, but the knowledge that he made the sacrifice for the safety of Asgard. All right. I love Norse mythology. That was information I didn't know, so thank you for that, Bobicus. Much appreciate the information and the learning. Okay, so I think with that, Serpent Blade Whip is good. Like I said, we wanted to get a feat in there, something that can represent those bonus actions and that extra damage. Now, unfortunately, I can't. Why is the music so quiet? There it is. Unfortunately, I don't think I can add anything that makes it a DC 14. So that'll just have to be... Man, maybe in here? I don't think so. I don't think I can do a saving throw, yeah. No. Oh well. Does have to be knowledge. I mean, it's always, you know, players have to remember the stuff that their items can do. That's always on them. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get that saved. I'm actually not adding Big Bertha. It's one of those things where I feel like it's very specific on the campaign that somebody's running that might be in there. But this is the next one that we're going to add. And this does have a transformed and untransformed state, but the thing is that it's not one that transforms into two different weapon types. So this one actually won't be as bad. I won't have to make two separate ones. But this is a very rare item. And, ooh, my back. This is going to be a wondrous item. It does require attunement. Just going to make sure that has something in there. And let's get all this copy and paste it in there. So, ripping the flesh of the beast they slay to fashion ferocious weapons is something hunters have gotten remarkably good at over the course of their hunts. So again, much like the other one, it is a trick weapon, which means that it can transform using a bonus action. Which means we might have to make a feat for this one as well in order to get that, whatchamacallit, that bonus action in there, just so that this way it's a little bit easier to manage for the players, remembering that it is a bonus action. But, yeah, so, untransformed, what this is basically a gauntlet. And it is giving you resistance to lightning and thunder damage, which first off is great, but pretty much the untransformed state allows you to have initiative on have advantage on initiative rolls, and also if you have temporary hit points, you deal an extra 1d6 lightning damage when you hit with a melee attack. So this is kind of built into the idea of just like hitting really hard and being kind of supercharged. So I do like that. I like the idea behind it. So also being able to use one of its 3 charges to not take damage when you take lightning or thunder damage, again, kind of just charging up the weapon. So you actually gain temporary hit points whenever you do this. And I think that's really cool because the idea of taking some lightning damage and redirecting it is very cool to me. All right. It's too unwieldy for delicate handling, such as, yeah, so basically, when you have it in its transformed state, it basically becomes just impossible to really do anything else other than to attack. So, kind of one of the, downsides, but I think if you're really in the moment, it's going to be understandable. Yeah, we do want that changed. All right, so let's get these trick weapon. I think that's all we got. All right. So, yep, we got 3 charges. These all reset on a dawn. Yep. Modifiers, you are getting resistance to lightning and thunder. All right. Ooh. So we're going to go in here to modifier. We're going to go to damage. And actually, I think we can do damaged unarmed attacks. Become 1d8. And also, we have a damage bonus of lightning, which is going to be 1d6. So there we go. Got some extra lightning damage, some extra... I guess this would be... I guess that actually can't be changed. It would still be... I think there's a way to do it after the fact. Honestly, though, it's not... I think we're good. I don't think we don't have to make a feat for this. I think this is fine the way that it is. Considering it's not an actual item. It's all just self-contained, so I think that'll be good. Alright, so we got those two. We have the Serpent Blade Whip, which I think I might make a character based off of. Kind of really love the idea of that being a rogue of some kind. Who's using it, somebody who maybe like gets in real quiet, real stealthy, maybe an assassin kind of character. I think that's cool. But we're going to go on to the Monk Way of the Fire Dancer. So we need to go back into here. We're going to create a subclass. And I'm going to say that I don't think it's necessary for me to have to create from something else, so we're going to create from scratch. And this is going to be the Way of the Fire Dancer. Full-on description. Now, one of the big things that this is based off of is kind of, people of a very specific nomadic lifestyle who faced a lot of prejudice in the real world. So this is based very much off of a gypsy kind of lifestyle character, and that's actually one of the reasons why the fire is kind of a holy and unholy fire. So as it says here, the fire dancers excuse me, The Fire Dancers carry an almost extinct tradition. Once a trading group, they consider themselves a family of a single creed. Those who harm us will bathe in flames. This nomadic group of seasoned warriors welcomed all walks of life, regardless of origin, status, or influence, as long as one conducted himself with respect towards his fellows. The caravans would open their door, with respect to their fellows, the caravan would open their door. Their ironclad creed and welcoming nature was their downfall. Upon arriving in Luarna, I'm guessing that's the world that Steinhardt's Guide takes place in, they were accused of bringing the Scourge along with them. After all, the Dancing Flame didn't affect the city before their arrival. This lie, like so many told, carried a kernel of truth that was exploited to bend others to the city's will. For this sin, they were imprisoned, left to starve, and forbidden from practicing their martial arts. Let's get these alongside them. There we go. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I said, very, very Romani, very much based off of, the old, very much based off of the old, like, nomadic. I hate using the word because I know it's not, I know it's, not an appropriate word, but, the gypsy lifestyle. Such treatment couldn't break their will. To hide their practice of martial arts, the traveling band took the name of Fire Dancers and hid their powers within their dance. For years, they have endured, many escaping the prison with the aid of their fellows, yet the bonds of family entrap them more firmly than any chain could. Even those who escape refuse to leave the city until their kin are freed and their name is cleared. So, what we're going to do is we are just going to pop the first part of that in there. We don't need to worry about this. This is not a spellcaster class, so we can just create the subclass as such. Give that a quick save just to make sure we're set up right. I actually think that these are worded backwards. I'm not going to word them the same way. I'm going to change like the first part of the one. So this one is going to be from, instead of also at 3rd level, this is going to be at 3rd level. But at 3rd level, you have trained your body to dance through flames. You gain proficiency with the acrobatics or performance skill, and if you have it already, or if any skill check you make with these, the proficiency bonus is doubled. So what this means, and I get that D&D sort of has like a very specific nomenclature and verbiage. I really wish they would put on here, you gain expertise in performance and acrobatics, because that's what it is. Doubling your proficiency bonus is just being it's just expertise. I'm gonna leave it the way that it is because I do want to be true to the author. I just really wish they would, they would just put you gain expertise in this thing, because I get that that's more of like an expert thing, but it makes so much more sense. All right, so it does not have options. We're good. This is granted as always. So let's go ahead and create this. We got to do the snippet. So, which means I need to bring it up on my side. Snippet codes. Because those are going to be useful. Here we go. Alright, so what's the snippet? You gain expertise in performance and acrobatics. Additionally, you gain resistance to fire damage. So I'm going to have to word this in a very specific way, because this is actually, the Blazing Performer ability is actually one of the coolest things that I have seen recently, and something that I do kind of want to not necessarily exploit, but something that I want to potentially work into the games that I run. So the way that this works is you gain resistance to fire damage. If you already have resistance to fire damage, each time you take fire damage, you can reduce the damage taken by an additional D6. I think that's a great option, and I really like that because I think it very much plays into this concept of, like, you know, being immersed in with the fire. But I think it's also really cool because one of the things that sucks about maybe like building a character a very specific way and having a thought process behind like certain abilities and stuff, sometimes redundancies happen. For example, if you wanted to play a Fire Ganassi, a Fire Ganassi Fire Dancer, that makes total sense. But you already have fire resistance from the Fire Ganassi. So if this just offered fire resistance, it kind of is like a, well, at third level, you gain expertise in performance and acrobatics, and that's it. But this, letting you get that additional D6 off of there, I really like that concept. So I think I might house roll something like that. I'm still running it through my head and mulling it over, but I might run something like that in the future in my other games, where if you have resistance from one thing and you gain resistance from another, when you take that damage, you still get the half damage. You know, you're still going to take whatever damage and divide it by half, but I think I'm going to have it reduce it by a certain amount. And honestly, that amount might just be tied to your proficiency bonus. Like, it's just a straight number. And I feel like that's because at much lower levels, if I introduce this, you know, third level, your character might have 20 hit points. So reducing the damage already is going to be monumental, but potentially getting a 6 to reduce it is going to be very powerful. So I might have it tied to proficiency bonus, just as like a, hey, if you have this, like, your own proficiency, your own like leveling and experience has granted you this additional resiliency. Again, still thinking about it, but I really like the concept of it. So back to this, you gain expertise in performance and acrobatics. Additionally, you gain resistance to fire damage, or can reduce the damage. You gain resistance to fire damage. Gain resistance to fire damage, or additionally, you gain resistance to fire damage. And if already resistant, you can reduce incoming fire damage by 1d6. There we go. I think that's fine. All right. Oh, wait. By an additional. There you go. By an additional 1d6. All right. So we need to go down here. We're going to add a couple modifiers. So this is going to be, look at that, expertise, performance. This is why it's called expertise. And we're also going to add resistance, and this is going to be fire. This might be something I do tomorrow. So I am going to make a character tomorrow. I might make 2 other characters tomorrow. I kind of want to make that Fire Ganassi Fire Dancer I was just talking about. I think that's a really cool idea, and I would love to see that penned down. Okay, so there we go. That is good. Blazing Performer is set. So we'll back up. Add another class feature. This one is going to be the Dance of Fire. All right, let's get this. Let's get the formatting done here real quick. So yeah, this is one thing that adding stuff to Beyond would always be easier if formatting was automatically done. And sometimes I do it beforehand. Man, when I'm doing it time of, does that take more time than it should? So at 3rd level, you are a master at weaving flames through your use of ki, creating a deadly dance. Whenever you spend a ki point during your turn to use your Step of the Wind or Patient Defense, your monk weapons and unarmed strikes catch fire until the start of your next turn. While on fire, they deal additional fire damage equal to your wisdom modifier. In addition, while your flames are active, whenever a creature misses you with a melee attack, you can make an unarmed strike or use your flurry of blows against it as a reaction. I love this. I love this class, or this subclass. I think monks, in a lot of cases, are, you know, real low key. You know, they have cool abilities here and there, but they're very defined by their subclasses, and I really love this. I love the idea of, like, you know, patient defense. You're doing this dance, you're in this moment, flames are flicking up around you, and then you kind of pause, and your hands just radiate heat, and they start to burn up. I love that concept. All right. I'm also thinking of this with, like, black flames. That would be really cool to be like a black flame dancer. I might play more with that tomorrow. Okay, so when using Step of the Wind or Patient Defense, you deal an additional, we need wisdom, you deal an additional all right, you know, we're actually going to cut out additional spooky black flames shot. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of, like, almost like, oh, what is it? Amaterasu from Naruto. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So, like, there's a whole thing on Naruto where Sasuke does this you know, black flames. It's like this eternal burning flames that will never stop. That's kind of like the whole concept behind it, is that it doesn't stop burning. So, like, you literally have to chop your arm off or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of, having somebody who is a little bit more dark. But we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll be making a couple characters tomorrow. We'll be doing a lot of stuff with D&D. Today's a short episode. Short episode of Lofi and D&D. When using Step of the Wind or Patient Defense, you deal plus blank fire damage. For unarmed and monk weapon attacks. Additionally, you can make an unarmed strike or use your flurry of blows copy and paste this. Flurry of blows as a reaction. Awesome. All right, so with this one, there's actually not a lot that we have to do with this. Modifiers isn't really going to help us there. This is just going to have to be something that the player remembers. But we will go down here to actions. We'll add a general, and this is going to be Dance of Fire, and it's a reaction. And we're just going to copy and paste all of this. While your flames are active, whenever a creature misses you with a melee weapon attack, you can make an unarmed strike against them. Oh, shoot. You know what? We're probably going to have to change the wording of that up here. Against a creature. Additional, nope, not there. Additionally, you can make an unarmed strike or use your flurry of blows as a reaction against a creature that misses you with a melee attack. There we go. Nice. All set and done. Let's give that a quick save. That's good. All right. Go back. Add class feature number 2, Scorching Vertex. Vortex, actually. So starting at 6th level. Starting at 6th level, you learn to entrap your foe in the flames of your dance. When you use your Step of Wind, if you manage to move through a creature's space, or move through each space adjacent to a creature on your turn, you can create a vortex of fire around them. The creature must make a dexterity saving throw against your key save DC, or become trapped in a vortex of flames that appears in its space, taking 2d6 fire damage. On a success, the vortex fails to appear. And we're going to grab this information. Excuse me. Oh, what did I press? I pressed the wrong button, and let's put that back. There we go. Did not mean to press that button. All right, so line of sight, on a failure, on a success, cool. So the vortex is opaque and obstructs line of sight. If the target attempts to walk out of the flames, it must succeed on a wisdom save. On a failure, it is charmed by the flames and has its movement speed reduced to 0, which points it takes another d6 fire damage and the vortex ends. On a success, it moves through the vortex, ending it. You are immune to the damage caused by these flames. Oh, okay, so you as the player, okay. You can use this a number of times. You go to 1 plus your wisdom modifier per long rest. So we need this to be 6. This is going to be order number 3, and this is granted. So snippet. Okay. If you move through each space adjacent to... Okay. When using Step of the Wind, any creature that you move through the adjacent space of must, when using Step of the Wind, any creature that you move through the adjacent space of must make a dexterity. I don't think I can actually do, I don't, you know what? I have to look something up. I think it changes. What is, it's 8. Okay, so this is what we're going to have to base it off of. So we'll have to just do the math. Must make a dexterity saving throw We're going to put this in parentheses. DC is going to be equal to 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom. So copy this one. This is going to be 8 plus modifier wisdom plus efficiency. Think this will work? Because I think there is an order of operations, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that that's right. And then we want this to be hashtag unsigned. There we go. So, and then we're gonna put all of this in parentheses. There we go. So must make when using Step of the Wind, any creature that you move through the adjacent space there and adjacent space. When using Step of the Wind, any creature that you move through an adjacent space must make a dexterity saving throw. DC equals that. Or take 2d6 fire damage. Creatures. Oh. Fail. I think we're just going to leave it like that, because I think the rest of it is all, like, once they're in it. Yeah. This, okay, you know what we're gonna do? It's 1 plus wisdom modifier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start this off with 1 plus wisdom. So this unsigned, so we'll say 4 times per long rest. When using Step of the Wind, any creature that you move through an adjacent space must make a dexterity saving throw, DC equal to 8 plus wisdom plus proficiency unsigned, or take 2d6 fire damage. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right, let's give that a save. Oh, my back. It doesn't have options, but I think there is a way. I don't think it's an action. But no, you know what? It probably is. You know what we'll do? We'll do it as general. Scorching Vortex. It's no action, and it resets on a long rest. But it has... I think it'll show up when I... Yeah, there it is. Limited use. That's what I was looking for. 3... No. How many is it? 1 plus wisdom. Perfect. And we are going to just copy that, and we're going to put that in here. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Cool. So give that a quick save. And that looks good. I don't think there's really much else beyond that. You don't really need to do anything down in here. We don't need to add modifiers because there's no general modifier. Plus everything else isn't really part of that, but that's fine. We got 3 more. So this one is going to be Flames of Redemption. This is fire damage that you deal ignores resistance to fire damage. In addition, the clarity of your mind allows you to generate flames that many would call divine. You can replace any fire damage with radiant. I love this. I love this so much. So fire damage. Oh, you know what? This would be really cool to be an... Oh my God. No, I just thought of it. I want to make 2 of these tomorrow. I'm making 2 of these characters tomorrow. I'm making 2. Oh my God. They're brother and a sister or something like that, or twins. They're twins. A fire... So, okay, so here's the thing. It's gonna sound weird. So fire Genasi in general are plane touched beings. So like air Genasi, fire Genasi, water and earth Genasi, they're plane touched beings. So they are they have some influence from the chaotic planes, the elemental planes of chaos. That's kind of their whole shtick. You know, fire Genasi were at some point touched by the elemental plane of fire, and so that imbues into them certain abilities. It gives them their affinity to fire, their resistance, and all of that stuff. There are other plane touched beings. Tieflings, for example, are plane touched because they have an they were touched by the planes, the deep planes, the underplanes, you know, the evil dark planes. But Azamar are also plane touched beings. They are from the celestial realms. They are from the good, the angelic. So this idea that I just had of having these 2 characters, one is a fire Genasi, and they are this chaos incarnate. They have this burning black flame within them. And then there is the other one who is a Scourge Azamar. Because if you don't know about Scourge Azamar, they have this awesome ability where they can basically explode out radiant light from their eyes and their mouth and every orifice on their body, probably every orifice. And it burns them and creatures around them. These are the 2 characters we're going to make tomorrow. I need to make a note of this because, like, this concept just blew my mind. All right, so we're gonna work on them tomorrow. I'm working on another character tomorrow that I already had the idea of, known as the Weatherman. You'll find out more about him tomorrow. But man, that this concept, like this 11th level ability, just changed it for me. Being able to change all of that to radiant damage. Oh man, I would love to see this character you know, build to fruition. That's such a... Oh man, I want to see these 2 characters like play it like alongside one another, you know, having some innate connection, but like, oh, that's so cool. All right. So we're just going to leave that it is, but we actually don't have to add anything to that. And Purifying Flames. Flames burn away all impurities. At 11th level, you can use an action to expend 2 points to touch a creature and infuse them with your flames. The target can repeat any saving throw against one poison charm or short-term madness effect, ending it on a success. So that's definitely played into, because of this being tied to Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, you know, the madness effects that go along with that, which those were featured in this one. Some of the long-term ones, you know, your damaged nerves transmit a constant feeling of itchiness. This feeling vanishes when your skin is in direct contact with metal. Some of this stuff is crazy, you know. Most of your humanity remains, yet enough of the beast is unleashed. You gain advantage on dex saves. Each of your hands transforms into a claw. Like, this is just, it's pure craziness. Your mind embraces the idea that your body will rot away and welcomes it. We are all going to rot eventually. You have immunity to the poison condition. And that's a great one. The scar tissue only thickens on your body. You get an AC +1. That's actually pretty good. Where were we? Back here. Purifying. So, as an action, we're gonna copy this. As an action, you can spend 2 key points to allow a target to repeat any saving throw. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. And we need to make this an action. This is going to be general, and this is pure. I need to capitalize the F in flames. That's gross looking. This is going to be a full action. Yep. And it doesn't have a reset, so give that a quick save. Let's get that back out here. Need to change this. All right, so we want copy Z, save into here. Awesome. Perfect. There we go. So now we're on to our last class ability. Oh, got a bug in front of me. I got all these little bugs this time of year coming in whenever it's nice and cold outside. Oh, didn't mean to hit save change, but hitting save change is not bad. All right, so this last one with fire, the kind of capstone of the subclass. At 17th level, you are the Master of Flames. When you deal fire damage with a monk weapon, if the target is a creature or a flammable object, it ignites until the target or a creature within 5 feet of it takes an action to douse the flames. It takes damage equal to your wisdom modifier at the start of each of its turns. In addition, whenever your Dance of Fire, so that's the one where you use your Step of the Wind or your Patient Defense, your body merges with the flames. For the duration, you become immune to fire damage, have resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical. So that's great. So what we're gonna do is creatures and flammable objects that take fire damage from you ignite. And an action to douse the flames is needed. Oh, this is just so many commas. Creatures and flammable objects that take fire damage from you ignite. An action to douse the flames is needed, or it takes it's what, equal to wisdom. Or it takes that fire damage at the start of each of its turns. Additionally, when your Dance of Fire activates, you gain immunity to fire damage and have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Cool. So this is the 6th ability. This is going, or no, sorry, we need the 7th, and this is going to be the 6th ability. I believe? Yes. Again, as always, it's granted. And what are we going to do here? So I don't want to put in that you're going to have that because that's only when Dance of Fire kicks in. So I think that that's actually good. So there we go. One with the fire is set up, and the way of the fire dancer is built. Now we are gonna go on to, actually, let me look at the time. So it's 7:44. Yeah, you know what, we'll do the other subclass tonight. We'll have tonight be the Steinhardt's whole deal. Because there's not a ton with this, but we need to do two things with this. We need to not only make a subclass, or sorry, not make, but we not only need to add a subclass, we also need to add a creature. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create from another class, or another subclass, and the reason why I'm doing this is because it's a lot easier when it comes to like these domain spells and stuff to just have stuff already built in. All right, so we need to add this. So the idea behind this, the idea behind this subclass is of a cleric that employs the use of a guardian angel to fight alongside them in combat. And I know at the beginning of this, I kind of talked about this being really good for one of the players in my group. We're the first ones, if you dare points it out, though if you dare point it, okay, we're fine. So the way this reads, clerics of the Radiant Church are venerated as saint-like figures, those who walk the path of the Guardian even more so. Such overwhelming praise was only heightened by the arrival of the Scourge and the countless heroic actions performed by the Church, anchored it as a beacon of salvation in the heart of the citizens of Luanara. Arna? Can't pronounce it. This abundant reverence has its risk, of course, though few dare point it out. A zealous crowd is best left alone. Guardian Domain clerics were the first ones to jump into combat against the beast, and to this day haven't backed down from the battle. Despite the pain and loss they have endured, their protective spirit is embodied in their magic, summoning guardian angels, which swoop to their side, protecting any who would ask under their wing. Although the features of these angels can, the features can be unsettling, none would doubt. Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, these more, kind of like harsher, more eldritch, occult Angels. I love the imagery though. I think looks baller. So we need some additional specific spells. So we need protection from good and evil and compelled duel. We need aid, warding bond, protection from energy, slow, guardian of faith, Odaluk's resilient sphere, anti-life shell, and wall of force. Now, the reason why I said this would be really good for one of my players, specifically the cleric in my P5 group, is because of the way that Hannah plays that character is very heavily designed the way that this subclass is built up, with the summoning of an additional being to your side to aid in your combat. So at second level, you present your holy symbol and a guardian angel appears next to you. So it has its own stat block, which is featured right here. But basically it lasts for an hour or until it's reduced to 0 hit points, or until you resummon it. And you have to use your bonus action to attack, to have it do something, but it can attack. It has this divine blade, which its attack is equal to your spell attack modifier. Or it has self-sacrifice, where it can interpose itself between a creature that's getting attacked and the attacker. It also has really good resistant or damage immunities in the Radiant Necrotic. It has great condition immunities. It also has blind sense, which is always a great thing, especially if you're fighting creatures of the darkness. It can also move through other creatures, and at the start of its turn, it can teleport to an empty space adjacent to an allied creature. She could, if she so chose. Yeah, Hannah could change her domain. It would require some role play. It would require a change of her faith, but I don't actually think. Kind of one of the things is that it actually wouldn't require too much of a change if it was played up the right way. It is a domain change from the war domain to the guardian domain, but I think it has a lot more to do with the fact of, like, her play style would have accounted for this, like her constant spirit guardians, her guardian of faith, and then just all of this manifesting into what could be a manifestation of her god to appear before her, to suddenly have Tempest just be like, not that it would necessarily be Tempest, but have, like, you know, like the visage of this this terrifying hell. You know, this is Tempest, for those of you that don't know. But you know, having this visage of a creature like a Valkyrie, almost just riding down from the heavens on, you know, with flames coming off of it, down to her side with this flaming sword and flaming shield, and playing it up to her faith as it is. And I think that would be a great way to play it up. More just to get to, well, and that's the thing, like, it would be a full change of her, you know, of her subclass. So if we look at the cleric here and what the war cleric gets, so, you know, war clerics get the bonus to martial and heavy armor. That would definitely be a change. Now, She doesn't have a, she does have martial weapons, but she is, let me see here. She is also wearing heavy armor, so that would become a, you know, something that is kind of a part of that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Yeah, light armor, medium, simple weapons. So I don't think there's anything within the class itself that that gives those benefits. So that would definitely be something that would have to change. You know, war clerics do get that. You also get that when you attack, you can make an extra attack as a bonus action. So there would be some give and take with this, and it's something that I let her know, like, hey, this is a cool thing. I think this really fits you. It's entirely up to her if she would ever choose to explore this. You know, but this one is very much built around more protecting and, you know, having those protections because it's this guardian angel. So at first level, when you cast a spell that restores hit points, they restore an amount, they get temporary hit points equal to half of it. So, you know, that right there, that's a great ability. At 6th level, you can summon your guardian to protect others, and it casts Warding Bond on a friendly creature that it can see. This can also be yourself. 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapon with divine energy. This deals an extra radiant damage. Guardian Angel also gets, you know, gets access to this. And at 17th level, when your Guardian Angel casts Warding Bond, it can target an additional amount of creatures equal to your Wisdom modifier. So it functions as if the angel had created a Warding Bond with each individual creature. And upon being summoned, the Guardian gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number of creatures targeted by the spell. So you can really buff them up. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of just built around how she has played her character, you know, for the time that she has been playing Albina. It's not something that I'm going to by any means force on her. My purpose in adding this is not to influence her to go down this route. It is a big change because of how she plays her character. I think it just fits very well into her play style. It would actually have to be something where she would have to change her weapons, because while she doesn't often use them, she often uses her spells more. She would have to oh that's right, yeah, she would have to gain that proficiency with heavy armor if she wants to maintain her mithril chain. Plus she would only be able to use the dancing rapier to allow it to go out. But that's also the other thing. As a cleric, she's already using a lot of her bonus actions, and this subclass very much relies on you being able to have access to your bonus actions so that you can give those to your guardian angel. Yeah, 2 years. It has been 2 years since she's been playing Albina. It's crazy. All right, so snippet. So we got protective magic. This is going to be, yep, so when you cast a spell that restores hit points, the targeted creature also gains half as many temporary hit points rounded down. So that's super easy. First level, we're gonna delete the light spell. I'm gonna have to retype everything. Thank God. Wait. Yep, I'm gonna have to retype everything. Oh, didn't mean to click that. Oh man. So those of you watching, how's your day going? I worked this morning and then had to fix my grandma's phone, and I finally got it working. So I was pretty pleased with myself, so I figured I'd reward myself with some D&D stuff and Lofi. This needs to be back to protective magic. We don't have enough. Wait, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually can get rid of. Or actually, shoot, where is? Wait a second. Where is the? I just realized that the whatchamacallit is not on there. The domain spells. Is that not on there? That can't be right. Is this... Wait a second. Why is it not... under Paladin? Oath spells. Here we go. This is what I wanted. I wanted to have a thing that was its own... its own thing. So... Okay, cool. So yeah, this is how I'm used to it. So we'll do we'll actually change this. We're gonna make this display as 2. And we're gonna have warding flare. Well, what is warding flare? We're gonna have that display as 1. There we go. And oh wait, you know what? Let's get rid of that. Let's change this to header 4. And this is Guardian Domain Spells. And we're going to change this to that. You gain access. I don't know why, but I have always preferred the way that paladins are listed out. You gain spells at the cleric levels listed in the... Let's do this. Guardian. Okay, cool. So let's give it a quick save. And then we got to change these. So we need compelled duel. And protection from good and evil. Let me do it this way. Make my life a little easier. Oh, fudge. Yep. So we got aid. Got warding bond. Protection from energy. Slow. Guardian of Faith, the one that Hannah loves, but always get confused with what it does. Odaluke's Resilient Sphere. Anti-Life Shell. And last but not least, a very powerful spell, Wall of Force. Alright. So let's save that. Again, when it comes to clerics, these are just spells that you have access to, much like paladins and whatnot. So having it at least listed and having it on the main page will make it so that they are available, but at least this will outline what everything is. All right, Channel Divinity. I almost said Chavanel. Guardian Angel. This one's a hefty one. So this is the one where you can summon your guardian angel. And I mean, I kind of love the idea of this, you know, of being a cleric who has this particular style. You know, where you are really focusing on more defense than offense. I think it's a cool concept of, you know, you have this guardian who watches over you and helps you. All right, let's save that real fast just to be safe. So down here we are going to change this. Actually, no, we need this one first. So, you know what? I think this... Present your holy symbol and... Friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. And lasts for 1 hour. Oh, it messed up the syntax down here. Lasts for 1 hour until it's reduced to 0 hit points, until you use this again, or until you die. This is exactly what we need. Perfect. Save that. And what we're going to do is, as we have done before, we're going to copy that, throw that down there, give that a copy, Control Z. Now we're going to change this. Channel Divinity Guardian, oh, not Guru. Guardian Angel. And it's nothing like this. But we need to get rid of this level override because it don't get that. I don't think anything is based off of that, so we need to... You know what? I don't think it's going to change anything, because I think now that we removed one of the things, I think it has nothing to tie to, so I shouldn't have to mess with that. All right, cool. So that's actually fairly easy, because this is more acting just like a companion than anything else. So, what we'll have to do is we'll have to make the creature. You know what? We'll have to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that after. We got to make the creature, and then I'll have to go back into here. So, in order to add this to this feature, but we will move on to the 6th level ability, which is Angelic Protection. Come on, there we go. You can summon your guardian. It casts Warding Bond, and yeah, so this is when you summon your guardian angel, it casts Warding Bond on a friendly creature. I don't have to have anything in there, so we're good. Yeah. Because it's not giving you the spell. It's you are not getting access to Warding Bond. It is your guardian angel. All right. So this one is Divine Strike. At 8th level, you can give your weapons radiant damage. Save. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to delete that. Oh. And this is going to be modifier. It's going to be damage, radiant. And this is going to be 1d8. And level scaling is going to be at 14th. 2d8. Divine Strike. I think that's right. I'm probably wrong. Add scaled effects at class levels for your feature. I think. I think that's right, but I'm probably wrong. I'll have to look into that later. So that's one thing that comes to like scaled effects. They do get weird. All right, and lastly, this one should be displayed 7th or 6th. This is the Aura of Defense. 17th level, can target a number of creatures equal to your Wisdom modifier. And this can be done once a long rest. So your guardian angel can target. It's equal to your Wisdom modifier, so unsigned. Target X creatures with its warding bond. When it does so, it gains an amount of temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number of creatures targeted by a spell. And I would put this as a snippet, or like as a mathematical formula there, but that's all going to be dependent on how many creatures. It gains an amount. No, not a number. It gains an amount. And actually, we're going to change this once per long rest. There we go. Cool. All right, so go ahead and save that, and we'll come down here to actions, and we're going to get rid of Corona of Light. Ow, that's an itch on the back of my neck. Cool. All right, so we save that. Now we need to go back into Guardian Angel, and we need to add a creature for this. So we're actually going to have to do it over here. We're going to create a monster. And we're going to scroll down to here. Guardian Angel. This is a medium celestial. And it is a CR of nothing. I think I can actually leave that, but I'm not sure. I don't want to put it as 0. So it is what it is. Now, something that sucks about D&D Beyond whenever you're adding a custom creature is you have to go through and delete all of these when you don't want to have something in there. It's kind of bum sometimes. All right, so this has these 2 abilities as special traits. Incorporeal Being and Reality Warp. And over here, we have our main actions, Divine Blade. Okay. And this is always italicized. And so is hit. Cool. It does not have... oh, actually, wait, it does. Technically, that would be a reaction. So we're going to move this from there, and we're going to add this down into reactions. And I think we'll maybe leave that empty, because that's all going to be its own thing. It doesn't have bonus actions. It's just the 2. Okay, does not have lair. But we need to go in and erase these, because otherwise it is going to have weird formatting. Just got to make sure that those are clicked off. All right, AC is going to be... you know what? Yeah, AC is going to be 10 plus proficiency bonus. Oh, this is rough. So we're going to just do 10 for right now. This is natural. Passive perception is 12. Number of hit points is 5. Plus 5 times your cleric level. So starting out, you are level 2 whenever you get this. So it's going to have at least 15. Oh, that's its hit die. No, it doesn't have hit dies. It just has hit points. So... Oh, I'm going to say what would be... So 5 plus... Or no, it's... 5 would be the average of a D... Or of a, no, not a D10. It's the average of a D8. So we'll say at this point it has 2 D8. Yeah, that's what it would have. All right, so strength is 10, dex is 14, con is 14, intelligence is 13, 15 wisdom, and 11 charisma. Does not have saving throw proficiencies. It has condition immunities. It's immune to blind, charmed, frightened, grappled, prone, and restrained. And we are going to create monster. Oh, all right, fine, 0. There we go. All right, so it knows a language, but it just knows the languages that someone else speaks. So we're not going to worry about a language. Senses is blind sight, and this is going to be 60 feet. Skills. No, but it has damage immunities, which I need to put... Oh, yeah, here it is. I don't know where that was. Radiant immunity and necrotic immunity. Cool. All right. So we'll give that a quick save. We'll give this a movement, which it has a 5-foot hover. Which we are going to have to put here hover. Because hover is a really interesting effect. Hover is a very specific movement in that it can fly, but if for some reason it's dropped to 0 movement, it doesn't just fall out of the sky. So there we go. So we got that set up. We now have Guardian Angel, which means now we can go in, give the Guardian Domain a quick save, which will refresh it. Now we'll go into Channel Divinity Guardian Angel. We'll come down here to Creatures. We will add a creature. This is going to be a summoned creature, and this is going to be a Guardian... Okay, so it probably hasn't updated yet, but that's basically what I'm going to do, is we are going to add a... we're going to add the Guardian Angel to this subclass. But that's where we're going to end it for now. Because I was able to get done with everything that I needed to. You know, just getting through that... lost the screen that I need. There we go. So we did the Fire Dancer Monk, the Guardian Domain, Guardian Angel Domain Cleric, or, well, the Guardian Domain, I guess, is the full name of it. We added the Galvanized Claw as well as the Serpent Blade Whip, so I think we did a good amount of stuff today. Like I said earlier in the show, stop back tomorrow if you are out there watching this, you know, live, or if you're watching it after the fact. Check out the next episode where I'm going to be making some characters. I'm going to be working on something that I've kind of been like toying at. Basically, I have this book. There we go. Dungeons, 51 dungeons for fantasy tabletops. So it has a bunch of maps in it. It's hard to see on here, but I actually bought the book in 2 different fashions. I bought it physically, and I also bought I bought it physically, and I also bought the digital copy to have on my computer. So tomorrow I'm going to be working on those 3 characters. I'm going to be working on a dungeon for this. I'm going to be creating a new homebrew item that I want to add based off of something that I worked into one of my previous campaigns, and something that I also saw very similar today. So swing back for that tomorrow. Like I said, I'm probably going to do it roughly about the same time, maybe closer in the evening, 7:30, 8:30. Well, I'll send out, notifications and updates on my different social media. So check me out over on YouTube at Kelf1, over at Twitter at Kelf1. I'm actually now on Instagram. I kind of redid the Instagram account that I had to be more focused on what I'm doing here. So that's over at Kelf01 on Instagram. Kelf1 is some random girl, so don't bother her. But Kelf01 on Instagram. I'll be updating whenever I do this stuff and whenever I'm, getting ready to stream. So this way you can keep updated. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. Again, welcome to the lounge, where we'll be doing our D&D Lo-Fi streams whenever we do them. This is where we'll be hanging out. And like I said, I have plans to fill those seats at some point. So we'll discuss that when the time comes. Other than that, you folks have a wonderful evening. I will see you in about an hour if you want to hang out and come over for tonight's episode of the First 15. That'll be starting up at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, like I said, in about an hour. So if you want to hang out over there, we'll see you then. And you folks have a wonderful evening.